You're putting in the hours, the early mornings, the endless dummy throws, and probably even slipping in some live birds from time to time. You're training your heart out. But when you look at the Hunt Test Premium, you pause.
Are you insane? You can't go to a hunt test? No. Let's go. We're not ready for that. Just how expensive that is. That first pass.
Oh my
we
God, Julian's gonna kill you.
4 or 5 more passes.
No.
Oh,
we
this is
cannot
great.
go to this hunt
We can
test.
do this.
Forget it.
Let's just try it. It should be
Use
good.
your mind.
Are you and your dog really ready for the pressure of test day? Is your retriever prepared to do its job under the watchful eyes of 2 judges, surrounded by controlled chaos of other dogs, gunfire, and duck calls? That knot in your stomach when you think about walking away without that precious ribbon, feeling like you just wasted the entry fee, and probably more than that, because most hunt tests you go to are a good $500 plus on any given weekend, with gas, hotel, food, etc. Everyone has that feeling. But it doesn't have to be a guessing game. In this video, I will give you the ultimate checklist for every level of AKC hunt test, from junior to senior, all the way up to the pinnacle of master hunter. This is your playbook to make sure you step to the line with confidence, knowing you're prepared, so you don't waste that entry fee and all the expenses that go into each weekend hunt test. I'm going to break down exactly what judges are looking for and what your dog needs to do to pass level by level. What are judges really looking for? Before we get to the checklist, let's get one thing straight about these hunt tests and how they work. A hunt test is not a competition where your dog is ranked against others. It is a pass-fail evaluation where your dog is judged against a written standard. That's why I preach read the rule book, and then read it 10 times more. Think of it like a driving test. You don't need to be the best driver on the road. God knows we need more of those. You just have to prove that you can follow the rules of the road and operate safely to earn your driver's license. This is all about proving your dog has the natural talent and training to be a reliable hunting partner. Judges score your dog on several things, but it all boils down to a few core pillars. Marking, their ability to remember where each bird went down. Style, that exciting eagerness you love to see. Perseverance, the drive to keep hunting and not give up. And trainability, which is all about their control and how well they listen to you. To pass, your dog generally needs to earn an average score of 7 out of 10 from both judges. And they can't have any single category scoring below a 5. Think of it like being a solid B student. Yeah, I wish. Not a valedictorian, but reliably good at every subject. You can't get an A+ in marking and an F in trainability and expect to pass. Not going to work. To get a title, you need to collect qualifying scores, or what we call passes. Think of them as credits towards graduation. Junior hunter title requires 4 passes. Senior hunter title requires 5 passes. Unless you have a junior hunter title, then all you need is 4. And a master hunter title, you'll need 6 passes. Unless you have a senior title, then you only need 5 master hunter passes to get that MH title. So with that foundation, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Oh, wait, I forgot. Do you know what the number one thing is that'll tick off most judges? Not all, but a lot of them. Stay tuned and I'll tell you what the number one thing is you should never, ever do when you go to a hunt test. It's kind of important, and I'm going to have that for you here in just a minute. The Junior Hunter Checklist. Are you ready to start? All right, let's get into it. Let's get excited. Let's start where everyone starts, the Junior Hunt Test. This is the entry-level exam designed to test a young dog's raw talent and basic training. The test is very simple. It's just two parts. One part is on land, one part is on water. Each of those parts has two single marked retrieves, meaning only one bird is thrown at a time. There are no blind retrieves, no honoring, just straightforward tests of your dog's marking ability. So, is your dog ready? Here is your checklist. First, let's go over the dog's checklist. Can your dog reliably mark and retrieve single birds on both land and water at around 75 plus yards? This is the whole ball game, people. They need to see the bird, take a straight line to the bird, pick up the bird, and bring it back to you. Is your dog obedient on leash on the line? Kind of important. At the junior level, you can hold your dog's collar. So perfect steadiness really isn't required, but they can't be a complete train wreck on the line. The judges want to see a dog that is focused and under control. Does your dog retrieve the bird gently and deliver it to your hand? This is a big one, and it's really the basic rule of retrieving. They have to deliver to hand at all levels. Dropping the bird at your feet, chomping on it, playing with it, throwing it up in the air, showing it off to everyone else. No. Those are serious faults that will probably get you failed in a junior hunt test. Is your dog okay, or we call cool in my age, in my youth? Is it cool? Is the dog cool with the environment, where it's at? They have to be okay with gunfire, real birds, decoys. A lot of dogs fail here because they aren't skilled and because the whole scene is way too overwhelming for them. And it's very, very common, especially in the junior level. And it's one of the things I preach in other videos, and I'll leave a little something up here. It's the junior and senior levels that dogs either can learn bad habits, but more than likely it brings out those bad habits at hunt tests. And this is one of those gray areas that you really need to pay close attention to, because if you don't get a handle on it, especially at a young age, it's something that you'll never get a handle on, and it could ruin your dog's career. All right, now for the handler checklist. I didn't see you grab a piece of paper and a pen. You may want to write some of this stuff down. Okay, I'm going to have some graphics for you here as well, and I'll try and attach some PDFs, but it's probably good you take some notes. So the handler checklist. Can you get your dog to the line without a big soap opera? I've seen many a handler get dragged to the line. And it's one of those OMG moments. It's like, oh God, that dog is going to take forever to teach how not to do that. So again, caution when you go to hunt test, don't teach your dog bad habits. All right, the test starts the second you leave the last holding blind, and a chaotic, out of control scene takes place as you walk up towards the line. It sets a terrible, terrible tone. And the judges literally just want to throw the book up in the air and say, all right, I'm out. That's not what you want, all right? You really got to pay attention to those little things. Do you know the basic rules? And again, I preach this over and over again in many a video I have here on the channel. You have to have your lead stuffed into your pocket. Did you know that? Before the test begins, before you even signal for a bird, you walk up to the line, you take the lead off, you shove that in your pocket. Then you can gently grab the collar. They can have a flat buckle collar. You can gently grab that collar and then signal for the bird. Now, if you didn't know that, you didn't read the rules. And judges love the fact that junior handlers know that. It tells them that you are prepared when you came to their test. And finally, here are the junior level OMG, red flag to watch out for. If you see these all the time in training, you are not ready to run a junior hunt test. A big one, and it's one of those annoying things that can crop up anytime in training, whether they're young, transition, or in their advanced training. Popping. That's when the dog stops on its way to the bird, looks back to see if you're there. Am I doing the right thing? It's the dog's version of a kid stopping mid-race to look back to see if their parents are sitting in the stands watching them. And it's just a sign, should I keep going? Am I doing the right thing? It screams lack of confidence. Another big one is switching marks. Even with single retrieves, if your dog gets distracted by an old fall, an example, most juniors, the first bird is usually the flyer, because you paid money for that event and a flyer is part of it. So the first bird is usually a live flyer. So you go get the live flyer and you come back and then they throw the next bird. Well, some dogs are flyer wise and they say, oh, I got a live bird over there. I'm going to go back to where I've been. And that's called switching, even though you send them for a different mark. It happens, but it shows lack of focus. It's like a waiter forgetting your order because they're over there eavesdropping on another table. All right, another big one is water, in and around water. Now, you don't need to be perfect as far as de-cheating, was what we call it. The dog has to get in the water. It can't run around the pond. They try and set up tests so that doesn't happen, but sometimes judges are forced on a small piece of water. They don't have a choice. You know, your dog should be at a level of at least some de-cheating so they don't learn bad habits at a hunt test. Well, I can go around because I don't have an e-collar on. No. Water is a big deal, and it's one of the things that you have to have solid basics in your dog, in my opinion, before you even step to the line and run a junior hunt test. But another thing is if they get in the water, they go get the bird and they bring it back. If you're not right on the water's edge, which most junior judges will put junior handlers right at the water's edge for this very reason alone, is that when the dog comes out of the water, what's the first thing that dog is going to do? It's going to spit that bird out, shake, and then come back and stand next to you without the bird. Well, now you just created another bad habit. That's a big problem. And you can't be sweet talking the dog over and over. Oh, pick it up. Come on here, fetch. You need to get that. I mean, that drama can go on for, seems like an eternity. But it's one of those things you need to look at and make sure your dog can deliver to hand when they come out of the water. Okay? So those are some of the things you need to avoid. And if you don't have all that down, then you're not ready for a junior hunt test. All right, you got through the junior, you got your junior title. Now the next natural progression is to move up to the senior hunter. So let's get into the senior hunter checklist, stepping up your game. Once you got that junior title, again, the next stop is here at the senior. And let me be clear. This is a monumental jump in difficulty. If junior hunter is elementary school, then the senior hunter test is like being in high school. Expectations go way up. Pressure goes way up. Everything is a lot more challenging. Why? A senior test still has the same land and water series, but now you're going to be looking at double retrieves. That's when 2 marks are going off before you can pick any of them up. You have a blind retrieve on land. You have another blind retrieve when you get to the water series. One series is going to be a walk-up. That means you and your dog are walking side by side to a predetermined spot, and once either you or the dog hits that spot, marks are going to start going off whether you're ready or not. There can be some diversion birds. I'll have to look at the rules, but I'm not 100% sure if it's a diversion bird or a diversion shot. But anyway, there could be some type of diversion when the dog is out working. And this is the biggest one, your dog has to honor another working dog. Yeah, it's a lot more challenging than just getting a couple of singles on land and a couple singles on water. There's a lot more to it. And it can take you a while to go from junior to senior. But I'm going to give you some tips here coming up in just a few minutes that will help you succeed, and it's worth noting. But let's continue with the topic. So here's the checklist to see if your team is truly ready. So again, we're going to start with the dog checklist for senior hunter. First and foremost, steadiness is king, people. It's king. Can your dog sit steady, off leash, through birds being thrown, guns going off, duck calls, all kinds of chaos going on around it? You might get one controlled break when your dog goes but immediately is stopped and you bring it back. Think of it like a false start in a track and field event. When you stop and you can get back to the block to start again, you're okay. But a control break, one control break, okay, two control breaks, no, not really. But an uncontrolled break is like sprinting down the racetrack anyway, ignoring everyone around you, and that dog could care less if you're yelling and screaming and telling it no. Uncontrolled breaks, and they happen all the time. Not just with like walk-ups and especially on honoring, but it's because the excitement level is so much more and there's a lot more going on. All right, can your dog handle double marks? Can it sit there and watch one mark over here and then turn around and watch one mark over there? And then remember that. So they have to have a higher degree of memory and focus. Your dog has to watch two birds fall. Remember where both of them hit the ground and then retrieve them one at a time as you direct the dog. Judges don't care which one you go for, first or second. There is nothing in the rule book that says you have to pick up this bird first and that bird second. No. Doesn't matter. But typically on land, they're shooting the dead bird first and then the flyer second. So the flyer is a lot more, yeehaw, let's go get that, so that's why they shoot the flyer second, okay? Going for the wrong bird is a failing error. What does that mean? So if you send for the flyer and then your dog starts there and says, nah, I'm going to go get this other one. Judges have to talk about that, and especially if it happens again in the next series, but read the rule book. Can your dog run a basic blind retrieve? This is another very challenging topic for most new people with young dogs. Can they do a 30, 40, 50-yard blind in training? Now, can they do a 50, 60, 70-yard blind in training? So when you run a blind retrieve, you're going to get judged on what are called whistle refusals and cast refusals. Judges don't care if you blow that whistle 120 times on that way to the blind. As long as the dog stops every time you blow a sit whistle and it turns around and looks at you. And it stays there until you cast. If you cast to the left and the dog goes to the right, you blow a sit whistle. You cast to the left, the dog goes to the right. You blow a sit whistle, you cast to the left, the dog goes to the right. What happened there? You got 3 cast refusals. That keeps stacking up. You're not going to pass that blind. So you got to be careful on your blinds on what you do. So a blind, it's a bird that the dog never saw fall through the air. So it's an ultimate trust fall, you can call that, with you and your dog. Your dog runs on pure faith in you as you guide the dog with whistles and hand signals to wherever this bird is. So that brings up another point. You have to know where this blind is. And I have said this before in other videos in the library. It's very important that you watch a test dog and you figure out where that blind is being planted. It doesn't have to be flawless, but it must show real teamwork. Can your dog honor another dog's retrieve? This means sitting quietly, off leash, and watching another dog work without moving, without making noise, or trying to join in on the fun. It's the equivalent of telling a child to sit perfectly still while all their friends around them are opening up Christmas presents. It can be a massive discipline issue, and I hear this a lot too. This is funny. My dog's never done that before. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, all right. Now the handler's checklist. Do you know how to handle your dog on a blind retrieve? There's an art form to it. Your whistle, toots, and arm waves need to be clear and effective, like a third base coach giving signs to the runner. Are you comfortable handling it's either going to be a real shotgun or it's going to be a fake shotgun? You have to actually put your paws on a gun. You have to shoulder the gun when the marks are going off. Then you have to make sure the gun is pointed in a safe direction. You swing that around at the judges, baby, you're out of here. You're going to get written up unsafe. No. You got to be comfortable handling either a fake wooden gun, which is what most clubs use, or they'll actually give you a single break-open shotgun and they'll tape it shut. You got to be proficient with handling a gun, and when to put it down and when to pick it up, etc. If you don't know, you ask the judges when the test dog is being run. What do I do with this gun? How do I use the gun when the marks are going off? When can I put the gun down or hand it off to somebody? All right, do you understand how to line up your dog for marks and how to prepare for the honor? There's an art form to that. Finally, the senior level red flags. Uncontrolled breaks. If you can't stop your dog when it decides to go, you are not ready for a senior hunt test, period. In fact, you're not ready to run a hunt test at all. I don't care what level you're at. If you can't have control over your dog, you got to do some serious training and finding help. Okay? Next is getting lost on a blind or needing constant nagging whistle commands. Again, it kind of goes back to the cast refusals and whistle refusals. If your dog thinks it's way over there on the right and you know it's way over here on the left and you can't convince your dog otherwise, you're out. The dog has to show it understands and accepts your direction. Next is noise. Whining, barking. That usually is associated with creeping, especially on the honor. But even when marks are going off, this is a major fault that shows lack of composure, and it's going to get you sent home packing. Senior is where you prove you have a polished hunting companion. If your dog is steady, can remember two birds, can take basic direction on blinds and marks, you're on the right path. All right, stepping up to the master. This is my bread and butter right here, people. The master hunt test is my favorite of all the levels. Again, I've been doing this for 30 plus years, and I love the master hunt test part of it, and I love getting a master hunter title, which is the topic of this video. But before I jump into the details here on the master hunt test checklist, if you get a master hunter title, the next progression is to try and get qualified for the Master National, which is in the fall, and Master Amateur Invitational, which is in the spring. They are two different organizations. They are backed by the American Kennel Club. But once you get to the Master Hunt Test level and you get your MH title, you can keep going. You can go a little higher, and you can get a whole new set of titles for both the Master National and the Master Amateur. Look into both those organizations. They have great websites. All right, off topic. So now let's get back into the details. And now we arrive at the master level. This is the PhD of the retriever world. The judges can, and they will, throw everything plus the kitchen sink at you. Master tests are where good dogs become great, where handling is an art form. Very impressive to watch. Tests involve 3 series, often spanning a full weekend. It usually takes 2 days, and it's actually in the rule book that it should take 2 days. It includes complex triples on land and water, on land, on water, and land and water, and a tough honoring scenario, lots of challenging blinds. There's diversion shots, diversion birds. There is a lot going on at the master hunt test level. The standard is perfection. This is the ultimate checklist. Again, we begin with the dog's checklist. Is your dog absolutely 100% steady? There are no second chances. There is no such thing as a controlled break. If your dog breaks, you're out. Even though you stop the dog, you got it under control, there is no such thing. A break is an automatic failure. End of story. The judges expect nothing less than perfect manners. Can your dog consistently remember and retrieve 3 triple marks? It's usually in all 3 series, you'll have a triple set of marks. And then you usually have at least 1 or 2 blinds. So the dog could be picking up to 5 birds. This is a huge memory test. The dog has to watch 3 birds fall, sometimes with delays, and keep a mental map in their head with the whole field in front of them. That's why it's critical that dogs learn to take pictures and they learn to recognize concepts. Does your dog nail complex blinds with minimal handling? Now we're talking long distances, tricky terrain, even double blinds where 2 unseen birds have to be picked up in more than likely along with a marking scenario. This isn't just a game of hot and cold. It's like sending a soldier on a mission with only a map and a radio, and your handling is that radio. And it must be crisp and efficient. Okay? Is your dog completely unflappable? A master dog must stay locked in through diversion birds, surprise gunshots, during blind retrieves, and complicated honoring setups. Nothing should break their focus. All right, moving on to the handler's checklist. It is just as tough. Can you truly read your dog? A great master handler is like a veteran baseball catcher who knows from the pitcher's slightest twitch what pitch is coming. They see the lean, the foot twitch, and they know exactly what their dog is about to do. Is your handling, dare I say it, kind of like having bad gas? Is your handling silent but deadly? Master handlers don't shout. Their signals are quiet. Their movements are small. And their connection with the dog is truly telepathic. It can be a beautiful thing to watch. Can you read the wind, the terrain, and the test setup like a pro to give your dog the best possible advantage? All right, the master level red flags are simple because the standard is so darn high. Any breaking, creeping, or happy feet at the line, that's a red flag. Forgetting one of the birds in a triple. You can handle on marks. You can, but in most weekend tests, if you handle on 2 marks, you're going to be on the fence of passing. But if you handle on 3, that's usually too many. You're out. You're not going to come up with that average score of 7. but you can handle on marks. And it's usually the last bird in the triple that's the hardest one to get, for the most part, but you can have difficulties on short checkdowns, etc. However, there's a word of caution here. If you handle on marks, just remember that the more whistles you blow, the more casts you give, and refusals, whistle refusals or cast refusals, is going to compound not knowing where that mark is at, and your scores are going to start to come way down. But you can handle on marks. It's just nice that you don't have to, if you don't have to, because your scores are going to be a lot higher. All right, needing to handle to the bird that they clearly saw. And that means you need to remember where the birds are at as well. Because it's hard to tell the dog where to go if you don't know where the bird is at. Showing any sign of quitting or losing drive on a tough blind. That's a red flag. Master Hunter isn't just a title. It is a testament to a truly finished retriever and a world-class partnership. All right, the ultimate litmus test. Simulating test day. So how do you really know if you've checked all the boxes? You have to play pretend. Drilling the individual pieces just isn't quite enough. You have to put it all together. It's like a dress rehearsal for a play. You need to have the lights on, the stage is ready, the audience to know if the show is ready. At least once a week might be a little much, but at least once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks, you need to run a full mock test in your training group. Set up your mock tests with marks and blinds, just like you would running at any particular stake that you want to run. If you're going to run the senior, make it look like a senior. If you want a mock master, you need triples and double blinds and diversion birds and all kinds of stuff. So you want to make it look as much like a hunt test as you possibly can. Get your friends out, have a couple of them sit there and act as judges. So you and the dog have to come out of the last holding blind, walk past the pretend judges, and walk up to the line. Go through the whole show. I mean, from leaving the last holding blind, doing all the marks and blinds, and then heeling offline and honoring. I mean, do it all. Get it in there. Because here's the important thing, and it's the most critical part. Score yourself honestly. Is your dog averaging a 7 or better in your mock hunt tests? Are there any spots where there are consistency issues and you're scoring below a 5? All right, so here's the rule of thumb from most professionals. If your dog can't successfully pass 80 to 90% of your mock tests at home, you are not ready to put in your entry fee. The goal is to train your dog to perform above test standards. It's like being a high jumper who trains to clear the bar by 6 extra inches. That way, when test day comes and goes, your nerves kick in and your performance drops, and again, you drop down to a pass level, not a fail level. Readiness isn't a feeling. It's a data point. If the data from your training says you're ready, then you can walk to the line with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've done all the work. I highly encourage you to check out the vast library of videos on this YouTube channel. My goal is to help all amateurs in the hunt test game, from the first-time folks to the seasoned veterans of the sport. And if this checklist gave you some value, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. We put out new content every single week to help you and your retriever build an unbreakable bond and crush your goals in the field. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot that one thing that ticks most judges off. Do you know what it is? Never, ever come to a hunt test with a white hat and a white t-shirt. Now you'll see a lot of my videos I'm wearing white. That's because I'm training. When we train, we wear white because dogs can see white out in the field when we're throwing marks and when I'm handling. I want to wear white so the dog has no question whatsoever what we're working on. However, when you go to a hunt test, read the rules. In the rule book, it says you must either be in camo or dark clothing. This is a simulated hunt test. This is a simulation of being out in the field and you're hunting waterfowl. Never ever come to the line wearing white. You see it every now and then in the junior, and some junior judges shrug their shoulders and say, yeah, whatever. Yeah, no, don't do that, okay? And the last bit of information I want to share with you, and I have said this in other videos as well, but it's worth repeating. How do you basically succeed at the hunt test game? You train at a higher level. You want to run junior? Great. Absolutely. 100% fantastic. It's a new place. It's a great place for new people to get into the sport. But if you want to succeed without frustrations, getting aggravated and upset and shrugging your shoulders and saying, this isn't for me, here's the best advice I have for you. Get into a training group and join a retriever club. That's the best thing you could do, first and foremost, and get mixed in with people who know what they're doing. But train at a higher level. So if you want to run junior, train your dog to the senior level. Your dog should be ready to run a senior hunt test because the step between junior and senior is so monumental. You might as well get it over with before you even run your first junior hunt test. So if your dog is ready to run a senior and pass at the senior level, then when you come down to the junior level, things are good. It should be easy, should be a cakewalk, no problem whatsoever. Then you can get that junior hunter title, and then you can move on to senior. But if I was to run senior, I would train at a higher level. What's the next highest level? Dog should be ready to run at the master level. So if my dog's ready to do triples and difficult blinds and difficult honoring scenarios, diversion birds, etc., the whole ball game, then when I come down, it's just a double in the senior and a land blind and a water blind and an honor. Makes it easier. Now, if I want to run master, what's the highest level I can get to that's in the hunt test game? It's the master. Not so close there. Hey, hang on. Train to run field trial quals, qualifying stakes. If you can get your dog to go out there not just 100 yards, but 200 to 300 yards, that's a higher level. Longer blinds, longer marks. Same honoring scenario, but again, train at a higher level, and then you come back down and run master, you're going to be a lot better off. Those are the things that will help you succeed. My goal is to help you succeed. In the 36 years that I've been doing this, I have only taken a handful of dogs, my first 4 dogs, through the junior and senior stakes and then into the master. Now when I get dogs, I bypass the junior and senior levels altogether. I think those levels are fantastic for new people to learn, to get involved in the sport, and continue the fight to keep the sport alive. Absolutely not going to badmouth that whatsoever. I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it has its place. But for a seasoned veteran like myself, I bypass the junior and senior levels. I will not put a dog in the junior. I will not put a dog in the senior level. Will not do it for one simple reason. Dogs learn bad habits in junior and senior. And sometimes those bad habits are career ending. Now, you need to learn. You need to learn how to handle your dog in a simplified environment and then a slightly harder environment than at the highest level or hardest level. You need to have that learning curve. It's great because if you plan on having more than one dog or taking multiple dogs into the hunt test program, you need to have what's called line time. You need to learn how to train. You need to figure out how to run a dog successfully at each single level. So please don't don't do as I say, do as I do as I say. You know, step through that. But when you get to the point in your life when you learn that, you know, I'm going to have an easier time running at the highest stake, and that my ultimate goal is to get a master hunter. Have goals. Is your goal just to get a junior hunter dog, hunter title dog? That seems like a low bar goal, but is senior hunter title? Yeah, that's a little higher. But master, that's the ultimate title, right? And then you can move on to master national and master amateur. But I don't want to teach my dogs, especially my young dogs, bad habits. So instead, I run field trial derbies and field trial qualifyings. Once I take a dog up to 2 years of age, they are derbied out. They can no longer run derbies beyond 2 years of age. Then we run qualifyings for a year or two. So I've trained at a higher level before I even come down and run a master. So my ultimate goal is to get a few derby points. I don't really care if I get derby points or not. It's not a high goal for me. But if I can make it to the end of a derby, if I can get some jams or place, perfect, no problem. That tells me I got something special here in my dog. If I can run a qualifying, again, get some jams, a reserve jam, maybe place here and there, perfect. I know I'm on the right path on my training. And then I can continue to train for field trials and then bring my dog down into the hunt test game. And that was one of the most successful things I had stumbled on with my dog Dusty that you probably heard me talk about in other videos. I got help from a professional retriever trainer who was only running field trials. So we decided that dog liked to run 300 to 500 yards, so we're going to run field trials. Once I got his amateur field champion and he got to be around 7 or 8 years old and he finally started to slow down, we came down to run the hunt test game, and he just smoked every hunt test I went to. It was a beautiful thing to watch, not only in the AKC, but on the HRC side as well. He got his HRCH in a handful of events, and he walked through and got 6 master passes, boom, done. And he had a great hunting career as well. That's my advice. That's my life story. And again, I'm here to try and help you. And if you have any questions, I have a lot of great content on this channel, a lot of great videos. And this is going to be the first course video I have on this channel. I'm trying the course thing out, but then we'll have a lot more courses coming up, and a lot of great comments from you folks. If you want more help on learning any topic and any video or any subject that you would like further information on, leave a comment. I'd love to talk to you, love to help you. All right, everybody. Course number 1 in the books. See you on the next one.